Hello and welcome back to my channel. My name is Miss Nekopon and today we're going to be talking about Uma Musume Grand Live, which is the new training scenario that's coming out tonight. So this will be our fourth training scenario. It's going to be a fun one, so let's get right into it. Just before we start, I want to let you guys know that I'm usually streaming Uma Musume on my Twitch channel, so if you want to see me more active or you want to see me how I train or play this new Grand Live training scenario, do come over to Twitch and hang out with all of us. We have a lot of people that play Uma Musume and we all speak English, so it'll be a fun time. So I'm just going to go through this Grand Live scenario a little bit with what we know so far. Now do note that this hasn't been released yet, so everything here is speculation and bits of information that I've gathered so far throughout the week. And this is the live document that I have created this week. It is a live document, so I will put the link down below so you can check it out as well. But what will happen is as I get more information about this new training scenario, I'm going to update this document so that you guys can get all the latest information as we discover more and more. So let's get right into it. This is the key art for the new training scenario known as a Grand Live. And as you can see here, you can see there's like a lot of lights and dancing, idol. We have Smart Falcon up here and we know she loves performing. And you know, even Mihono Bourbon's having a grand time here with a microphone performing, and we know she's a little bit like, you know, a little known as a cyborg, so her showing emotion here is great. Very exciting stuff. As an intro, again, this is our fourth training scenario and is going to be released today on the 24th in Japan time. And just like in Yura and Our Haru training, if you guys have played the first and second training scenario before, we will once again have our individual goals. So this marker up here will let you know what goals you need to hit in order to move on with your training. I know we've all been spoiled in making new tracks so far, where we didn't have these individual goals and we kind of like had a lot of flexible training with all the characters, but now we have these goals again. So, you know, keep that in mind as you go into this training where it might be a little bit, I know I am a little bit rusty in doing these goals. Now, I don't know what this means, but maybe this also means that it is possible to get scenario-specific kind of skills, like, you know, Silent Suzuka can only get Great Escape with Yura or Our Haru currently, but not in Make a New Track. Perhaps having goals will mean that she'll be able to learn Great Escape in the new scenario, Grand Live. A little bit about the story in Grand Live. So Light Hollow is a new character. She used to be a racing Uma and she's very pretty indeed, but now I guess she's decided she wants to be an event producer instead. But because now she's a producer instead of a racer, she's really not able to be part of the spotlight for Grand Live. Therefore, Smart Falcon and Light Hollow starts a new plan called Grand Live Revival Plan. But you know, they're not able to do it alone, they're just two people and they do need support. So Agnes Tachyon gets involved due to her curiosity in the possibility of live performances, and of course in Tachyon style, she forcefully gets Silent Suzuka to help out as well. She didn't even realize it at first, but she gets her in there. And Mihono Bourbon also joins in later as well when she fails to compute the live performances as more than just simple dance lessons. And Smart Falcon tries to help all of them understand that live performances are a way to thank the fans with a story to tell. Now, let's get right into the training. The complete objective and goal of this training is very similar to the Our Haru team races, but we're not going to be racing this time, we're going to be performing. So just like the team races, there's going to be 4 announcement lives throughout the training to perform a Grand Live at the end. These announcement lives happen every 6 months, just like the team races, and you're going to have to get through each one of them. Now, how are we going to be successful in lives? It's not like racing, we're not trying to get stats to race, but instead we have this live expectation gauge right here on the left side of the screen when you're training, and this will let you know how successful you will be. You can increase this gauge with some lessons, and we will talk about that in just a little bit. You can see as you're doing your lessons, this bar will go up, so it will be a good time as long as you do the objectives of this training scenario. Alright, so the general flow of this training scenario is going to be train to gain performance, and we'll talk about performances in just a little bit. then take lessons using performance so that you can learn live techniques and songs, and then you can perform lives to get permanent training bonuses for this training scenario. That's where the kicker is. You really want to tackle those live performances and gain those permanent training bonuses so that you can get as much as possible out of your training. So step 4 is profit. Continue to train more efficiently. For this scenario, we have scenario link again. This is again something that we had in our Haru, but we didn't see it again in Make a New Track. But with scenario link, it means these characters have unique like event-based like things that can happen to them in this scenario. So this time we have Mihono Bourbon, Agnes Tachyon, Smart Falcon, and Silent Suzuka. And of course, their characters and cards will both be acceptable as a scenario link. So even with Mihono's ult, like the Valentine's one, and also the new Smart Falcon that's coming out as well, will be available for scenario link. These are the cards that we can use. You can see that we have 2 free Silent Suzuka cards that we had before. Agnes Tachyon's having a new card, but she has an SR version. Mihono Bourbon has her free Halloween card. If you missed out on that, it's too bad, but we are getting one for half anniversary, so don't feel bad, we are getting her. She also had this stamina card before if you've bought the Blu-ray, but if you don't have this, don't panic. She also has an SR version. Smart Falcon also has her own cards. This was free from one of the previous events, and then Light Halo is one of the new cards representing the new Spotlight character in Grand Live. Now down to performance. We have to talk about performance because that is part of your training now, and it's very important. Every time you train, you're gonna gain something called performance, and they're all listed on the left side of your training screen. The top one is dancing, and then passion, and then vocal, visual, and mental. Every time you train, you'll see there's this da or vo or v or whatever it is that represents one of these stats up here. And by doing stamina as an example in this case, you'll be gaining some points in vocal as well because it has the vocal icon right here. Just like regular stats, the number of performance that you earn is dependent on your training facility level, the number of supports that are participating, and of course your passive bonuses. Friendship training is super important this time because you can get 2 performance trainings when you do friendship training. So if you look at here, you can see that if you don't have a lot of supports and you don't even have friendship bonus, then you will only get a little bit of performance points, I guess we would call those performance points. And then in the middle, if you have friendship training, even if it's not with a scenario link character, you can get actually 2 icons here. This one says Vo and Pa, so we get vocal and passion here, so we get double here because we're dipping into 2 different performances. And then for the last option right here, as an example, if you train with a lot of supports, you will get more stats. So even though this one is just Pa for passion, because there are like 5 support characters here, you are getting a lot more points compared to just having 2 people on the side over here. So what does this actually mean? Well, I don't really know yet, but I am predicting that friendship bonus and specialty rate will be maybe the new meta because you really want them to show up for that double gain. You know what I'm saying? And I don't know how that will affect it if we had many friendship bonuses at the same time. You can only get up to 2, I believe, for the how many like different types of performances you can get. But if you have a bunch of them here, I'm pretty sure you'll not only get just 2, but a really high number of the 2 that you get. Okay. I just put a list of a bunch of characters that have really high friendship bonus on the left over here, but again, I don't know for sure if this will be the new meta. Just so far, that's how I'm gonna tackle it. Hopefully that's a good starting point for you as well. And another thing to mention is that we have group cards. So we have Team Sirius and the Throne card, and both of them will have something called Passion Zone. And if you don't know what Passion Zone is something you can trigger right before, people usually just like trigger it before summer camp. So we can really maximize the opportunity to get 2 times performance trainings. And because this is a training focused scenario, I believe energy discount and recovery up will be important again, much more important than it was in Make a New Track. Let's get into lessons here. What do we do with all the performance points we just got? We use them in lessons, which is a new button that you can see at the bottom of the menu here called lessons, as a microphone and a CD on it. This is where you're gonna learn live techniques and songs. This is also how you can increase your announcement live success rate. Just like the Make a New Track shop feature, lessons don't really take a turn, so use them as often as needed. You can also do multiple lessons on the same turn. I think this also means that our training is not going to get any shorter, unfortunately, but at least we now have the new re-rolling factor feature, and if you haven't heard about that yet, do check out my other video. Now you can re-roll your factors for 30 TP up to 1 time. That is a really great, nice quality of life feature. Anyway, back to lessons. You can spend performance points to choose 1 lesson out of a list of 3. After you choose 1 lesson, it's going to randomize the rest of the list, so make sure you choose the one that you really want. So here's an example. Here's just some live techniques that you can learn. The top one here costs 24 vocals, and you can see you have 64 up here, and it'll give you 12 power. And right here, it's gonna cost 15 vocal, but you get 1 random long distance skill hint at level 1. So you can kind of think of live techniques as something like a rival race in Make a New Track. This is how you're gonna score those extra stats or extra skill hints that are random, which are still useful. And after doing live techniques a few times, you'll be able to look at live songs that you might want to practice. Note that these are actually permanent buffs, and you want to choose carefully about which ones you want to take, because once you take one of these lessons, the other 2 songs will rotate out possibly. It's just going to refresh the list, so you're not sure if you're going to get it again. These are permanent buffs. They'll be applied after you perform the announcement live. So unlike the live techniques where these stats are applied immediately after doing this lesson, the live songs ones only apply after the announcement lives that happen every 6 months. So in this example, this top one right here will give you a speed bonus +1, and also increase your support chain event appearance rates up +1 as well in the level. So you want to choose which ones that will really enhance the way you want to train your UMA this time. I also started a list of live songs and their bonuses in here, and as I find more and more, I'll also list them in here if you want to see which ones these are, because I know like many of us don't know Japanese. You can click into here to see the album cover on the right side. All right, and I just want to make a quick note that in Grand Live, your stats can actually go beyond 1200, so do note that the efficacy of those bonuses will be cut in half beyond 1200, I believe. Don't quote me on that. Again, everything is speculation, so be aware of that. You can see in this example down here, this is actually Sakura Bakashino, but her stat is at 1237 and it's already at UG3, but that's out of 1412. So these caps, we have 1412, 1406, 1412, 1400. They're quite high, so that means you can make some crazy UMAs now, which means it will change the landscape for the next champions meeting. Another example here, it is Mejuro McQueen, and you can see the speed cap is already at 1636 in the junior year, so there's so much potential here. Next, let's talk about those announcement lives that I keep talking about. You're going to perform 4 of these throughout your entire training before the grand live at the end. Now remember that rainbow expectation gauge that's on the left side? It's finally time to perform, and you can see that gauge right here in the middle of the screen when you're about to do your live. You can either do success or great successes depending on the number of songs you have practiced during your training. If you've learned 3 songs by Grand Live, you will have a great success. And then after completing your live, you will get those live bonuses I mentioned before for those permanent buffs for your training. Your buffs will depend on what songs you perform, so choose the one that best suits your training. The bonuses of the same type are cumulative, so if you do a live with specialty rate up +5, and then you do another live that has specialty rate up +10, you're gonna get 15 after both of those lives. So in this example, you can see after your live, you'll have the screen that lets you know what permanent buffs you got. On the left, it is friendship training result +55%. The middle one is specialty rate up 35, and the last one is the support chain events appearance rate at level 6. So you will also gain a lot of stats from doing a successful performance, so do your best out there, and I know you can do it. finally, at the end, you will also still get to do your Euro finals. So if you want to race, you will still have to race in this one, not only your goals, but also Euro finals at the end, just like our Haru Cup. Good luck to everyone out there. I know you're gonna ace it. Come back here to this channel later on. I'm sure we'll talk more about Grand Live, and of course, do check me out on Twitch if you want to watch me stream this game and many other games I love to play. I also do art sometimes. So yeah, I hope you all have fun. I hope this little summary will help you get started in Grand Live and not feel a little bit too overwhelmed when you start playing the training scenario. If you want to go chat and talk with some really fun people about Uma Musume in English, my Discord information is also down below. We have a lot of great people, and we just want to play and have fun in this game. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you all in the next one. Thank you. Bye-bye. Happy racing.